Hello guys, I hope you can hear me and the chat is on if you need to send anything over. We're just waiting for people to join us. So what we're going to do is just going to pause for a few minutes. You can even close your eyes. So there are people joining us and it looks like you can hear me okay. So I suggest you just spend a few moments, even close your eyes. You don't have to look at the screen. Okay? You can just close your eyes and just settle your attention on the body. And then I'll tell you what we're going to be doing. So just feel your breath as it comes and goes. I'm not trying to achieve anything here. Are there any sounds happening apart from my voice? Just hear them. They're not a problem. We'll be here for about 30, maybe 40 minutes at the most. So carry on with your eyes closed if you wish. And we find ourselves in a particular situation. Unprecedented. So before I go into what we're going to be doing here with the home retreat, I just want to tell you a story. A wise man in ancient India was walking the forests. Let's call him the Buddha. I'm a Buddhist, so let's call him the Buddha. And he enjoying his travels, and he comes across a king. He says, "Hello, Mr. King, how are you doing?" in a Northeast English accent. And the king says, "Oh, don't ask." He says, "I don't know." He says, "About myself and the Queen are not getting on very well, and my children, they're not turning out as I want them to be. They misbehave, and the crops, not enough crops to feed the people. But probably worst of all, the neighbouring kingdoms are battling with us, trying to take our land." And the Buddha says, "Oh, that's not very pleasant, but it will pass. This will pass." And the king says, "Oh, thanks, is that it?" The Buddha walks on. 10 years later, he's doing his rounds again, and he comes across, guess who? The king. And he says, "Oh, hello, Mr. King, we talked a long time ago, remember me?" And he says, "So how are things going?" He says, "Wonderful." He says, "Myself and the Queen have sorted out our troubles. Look at my children, beautiful young adults. I adore them. We can feed the people and we've made peace with our kingdoms. Lovely. And the Buddha just looks at him and says, this too will pass. So what's the moral of the story? It's self-explanatory, really. That if we take it to our current situation, it will pass. We will look back on this in the not too distant future and think, wow, remember that? The eternal law, it will pass, everything passes. And the reason I tell that story is because we get stuck in over-identifying with the content of the moment. It's like this, and it's not going to change. We're stuck. We're not. It will change. It can't help but change. So I just want to spend a few minutes talking about this from self-isolation to home retreat. We've set up these Facebook Lives, and hello, Stuart. And we'll be on here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay? But we'll let you know anyway, and mostly it'll be 12:15. But also there's a web page, the link should be there, with free meditations on. And what I'm going to ask you to do, if you're working from home or you're isolated at home, is to set up a very simple program. I've been running retreats for over 20 years. And a retreat is something that's very simple. You just have a program and you put yourself into it. So I'm going to suggest that you have 3 long pauses a day, about 15 to 20 minutes, and set particular time, maybe 10 o'clock, maybe just before lunch, and maybe late afternoon. But set those times for yourself, 15 to 20 minutes. And go to the webpage. They're all free, these guys. And great, lovely Sarah, that would be great if you did that. The NHS to join in. That's what we want. More and more people just pausing. Now, on that webpage, there are free meditations. I'm going to suggest you listen to any one of them. They're all relevant. Take the meditations about between 12 and 18 minutes long. So just sit down somewhere comfortable and quiet, or lay down, it doesn't matter, and just listen to the guided meditation. So it's 3 sessions of around 20 minutes. 2 of those sessions, I suggest you listen to a guided meditation. On the 3rd, on that webpage, at the bottom, there's a writing exercise. If you want to do that for the other session. The instructions are there. But what I also like you to do is to, on that guided meditations page, there is a one particular meditation called morning meditation. Listen to that. It's about 7 minutes long. Listen to that a couple of times. And what I'd like you to do is to practice that when you wake up in the morning. Because when we wake up in the morning, it's very easy just to, we wake up and we either get out of bed or, more than likely, you go into the mind. You start thinking about the day ahead. And some of us wake up with a feeling of anxiety or even dread, some people. People wake up with a sense of dread or fear or just uncomfortable. I mean, you might feel rested, which is great. But that's a wonderful time for just tuning into the body. So listen to that morning meditation a couple of times, and then you'll know how to practice it. It's only about 6 or 7 minutes long. Just a way of tuning in, coming out of the mind, the first thing, and coming into the body. tuning into the body, tuning into how you feel, to your moods or your mood. And just during the day, just take short pauses, just 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. Right now, take your attention to the end of your out breath. And lengthen the out breath by about half a second or so. You can even close your eyes when you do this, because you're going to be at home, probably by yourself or with your loved ones. So what that does, it allows you to pause, take an internal pause, even if you can't take an external one if you're busy. At least you can take an internal one. Because it's very easy to get lost in a haze of activity for the day. And we suffer, and then later on in the day we suffer from that. Because the body takes a battering and the mind takes a battering. So what that does, let's say let me put it another way. We're going to have another meditation soon, a slightly longer one as well, guys, okay? But for now, feel free to close your eyes and just sit back. This is a home retreat. From self-isolation to a home retreat. And so we're all in our home. This lovely home that's generally comfortable, but also might get a little bit tricky, a little bit difficult when it's imposed on us. And we have got stimulation from outside. And it's very easy to get lost in the mind. The mind will take you out of your home into its stories about life, about the future, what's going to happen with the coronavirus, what's going to happen with this COVID-19. Was it 19? I think it's 19. What's going to happen? Am I going to get it? Am I going to do this? What's going to happen to everybody, my friends, my loved ones? See, what happens is our attention gets hijacked and it takes us into another world, a world of anxiety. Thoughts like hooks, they come along and we get hooked on them. And they take us on a journey. And there can be such stressful journeys. Journeys of anxious journeys about the future. What the past should have been like or could have been like. More often about the future. So you're in your home now. But also there's another home. The purpose of these home retreats are to help you live in this home that you have. What am I talking about? Your body. Your body is your home. Even if it's not very well, it's still your home. So what meditation is here, and particularly the first one on waking in the morning, is a way of taking care and tuning into your home. When you tune in, you find there are moods and feelings and aches and pains and feelings of openness and relaxation. There's a myriad. There are myriad feelings and sensations going on. But our body, our home, is calling us back. come live with me. come live with me. I'm okay to live with. And so what we're doing with our meditation is learning to come back home and live in the body. Not just when we're meditating, but we learn to do it throughout the day. We notice when we're hijacked and come back. And make this an opportunity. If you work from home or home isolation, self-isolation, take this opportunity to get to know yourself. The writing exercises I mentioned earlier are a superb little way of getting to know your beliefs. The first one is about beliefs. So have a go. So join me in the pauses that I bring into these sessions. See, when I pause like that, what does it do for you? It brings you back home, even if it's only for a few seconds. You're back home in the body. If anybody does have any questions or comments, and I think you have the web page address. They are all free, guys. It should be there somewhere in the chat. So I want to tell you. Well, there's a long parable called the parable of the two daggers. Well, I'm going to cut. Oh, hello, Louise. You're welcome in Ireland. Yeah. Well, it seems to be everywhere, isn't it? Hello to our friends in Italy. There's a parable called the parable of the two daggers. And I'm going to cut a long parable short. It says in the tradition, in the Buddhist tradition I'm involved in, the mindfulness tradition, that there are two daggers. Life has two daggers. Bad things happen. Things that we don't want to happen. Okay. So maybe the COVID-19, the coronavirus, is the first dagger. Something has happened and we don't want it to. We can't do anything about the first dagger. It just happens. How we respond is different. But that first dagger has happened. In this case, the COVID virus. Okay? And other things happen. It might be a toothache. It might be a criticism. It might be a car breaking down. Pleasant things happen. Life brings pleasant things, but we don't tend to make a problem out of these. Yes, I love this well, Janaki. Yeah, they're beautiful. Very strong parable, I find. But anyway, life brings the unpleasant and the pleasant. We don't want the unpleasant. Life stabs us. Ow, coronavirus. Even if we haven't got it, yeah, it disrupts our life. Now, what happens, the mindfulness tradition says, what happens is life stabs us with we can't do anything about that first one. But what we do, and this is a dagger, okay? What we do, the first one goes in and immediately we reach for it, and what am I going to do with it? Stab myself in the eye, in the back, in the neck. And I'm being graphic so you remember this. And that is what we do. The first one just happens, but the second one is what we do. It's active. So it might be the complaining about the coronavirus, it might be complaining about this. It's our thoughts around the first incident, our opinions, our judgments, our criticisms, and all that. And we do it with our thinking. So along with your home practice, with what I've mentioned about the meditations, I want you to notice when you're using the second dagger. And you use it with your self-centered thinking. It runs away with us. And I want you to unhook from them. I'm going to do a meditation on unhooking soon, okay? So I should have a few moments pause. Oh, hello, Saratna. Janaki, you did the 8-week course at Coventry University with me. Okay. Yes, I remember you. Yes, I do. There should have a pause. Just come back home. And at some point you'll notice that you're on a thought hook. That takes you away from home. Just say to yourself, thinking, and return back home. Just return back home to the sounds of the traffic outside, to the feeling of the body. Let's carry on this meditation for a few more minutes. Just feel the breath. Thank you, Glenn. So when we're meditating here, we're not trying to have a blank mind. Give that up. Get that idea and throw it into the bushes. Throw it into the street, let the bus run over it. When you notice that you are lost in your thoughts, Just say to yourself quietly, thinking, because that's all it is, and return, come back home. There's nothing to be achieved. There's nothing over there for us. It's not there, guys. It's not in the future. What you are looking for is not in the future. It's not in the past. Just rest at home. Learn to rest at home. Any sounds happening? Sounds are part of real life. There's real life and there's the unreal life. For just to simplify terms here. The real life is of the body and the senses. Because the sound of the bus or the dog barking is real. The breath is real. The feeling of sadness or happiness is real. Your story about what's going to happen with the coronavirus or what may or may not happen is unreal. It's a story. It's not really happening. So just say to yourself, thinking, come back. Feel the body. The mind will think, and that's fine. Mind is. Don't use the second dagger. Oh, there I go again. Can't stop thinking. Just say to yourself, thinking. This is a practice of awareness, but also kindness. Just come back home. What's it like not to have to achieve something? There's no destination. There's nothing that needs to change. So you know what? We can just relax. We can just relax back home. Even if there's pain, relax with the pain. If you're in your thought, if you're in the false world, thinking, unhook. The moment you see yourself on a thought hook is a moment of release. So carry on. Your eyes closed if you wish, just sitting or lying, whatever you're doing. So just to recap, go to the webpage, free meditations on there. Take 3 15 to 20 minute pauses a day. That's your program. But set the time. Don't just, oh, I'll do it later. I'll just find time. Make the time. 9 o'clock or 10. 12:45 before lunch, maybe 4 o'clock or something. In between those times, just take very short pauses, just 10 seconds or a minute with the breath like we did. Just a breathing space. Come back home. See, I'm one of those silly people who volunteer to do this, the equivalent of a home. I go on solitary retreat, like a solo retreat. And I've been doing it for years. What I do, I take myself off somewhere, park myself in a cottage in the middle of nowhere, and just, well, do meditation, bit of reading. Remember, and stretching as well, guys. Use your body. But I don't want to go into, yeah, adults. You know when the body needs something. You need to keep it fit. But when you're in a retreat like this, you're faced with your mind. And this is what we're going to be looking at over the next few days, few weeks, however long this goes on for. How to work with this, because this drives people mad. And it's not the thoughts themselves, it's the believed thoughts. And on the next one, which will be Friday, the same time on Friday, 12:15, I will be looking at thought labeling. Okay, which I find, and Louise mentioned it in the chat. It's a very simple but effective way of unhooking from thoughts, getting a perspective on your thoughts, on your thought world. But listen to that morning meditation a couple of times. It's only 6 or 7 minutes long. And then practice that on waking up in the morning. Just tune into the body. Instead of going into the mind and then winding yourself up, dreading the day. A dagger straight away. And that's a self-imposed dagger. You've done it. I hate this. When you say or think, I hate this, it's a dagger. And it goes right into the heart. It just brings down the mood. It's like dripping poison into the system. So listen to the morning meditation and practice that for 5 or 6 minutes on waking up. You can put it on if you wish, but it might be a bit of palaver waking up, putting your phone on then. Familiarise yourself with it and just practice that. It's our most popular meditation on Insight Timer. It's been listened to thousands of times. It's very simple and direct. Hello, Gulshan. Welcome. So we're nearly finished, guys. Send over any questions if there are any. Yeah, thanks, Gainer. Thought labeling is where it's at with this pandemic. Because it's this. It creates hysteria. I'm not saying there's nothing to be concerned about. We need to be concerned. But do we need to live in fear? Does it help? And the fear, see, there's 2 types of emotion, 2 types of fear. One is there's a sense of concern about what's happening because the coronavirus is real. There's something really going on. We have a response to that, which is, oh, hang on, you have to do something. We do. We have to respond. How we respond, it's different for each person. But there's false fear, and that's created by our thinking mind. And no matter what you try to do in the external world, it doesn't make any difference, because the source is not in the world, it's in your head. And this is what we're going to be looking at. So please, thank you, Natalie, Steph. Please share with as many people as possible. Like it by all means, but if you can share it as well. And because there's a lot of people struggling out there and they don't know where to turn. Someone who's never done a retreat is confined to the house for 2 weeks, 2 months, I don't know. What on earth do they do? Okay, guys, it's been a pleasure, and yeah, but by all means, email me if you want to. I don't mind at all. And thanks, Gulshan. Yeah, I'll see some of you on Friday. Remember your second dagger. Unhook from it. You don't need it. Michael, Michael, hello. Yeah, share it around. Thanks, Michael. And share that webpage around, guys. It's open for everybody. It's not just for us here. Okay. Thank you. Oh, you wanted to talk some more about the non-judgmental experience and you talk about in the forgiveness meditation. Yes, I will. Found it powerful. So please talk about non-judgmental experience and you talk about in the forgiveness meditation. Yes, I will. Jojo, there's nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. William Shakespeare. He was there, wasn't he? He was the guy. He was it. Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.